What's up, guys? It's another episode of Off the Post. I'm your host, DJ Redcap, wearing a blue shirt. This is for FCKC. I see you, Danielle. You know, always looking out. Today we are going to discuss the tournament that I will call it its real name once, and then I don't know. Should we like rename it or something, or does everyone
She
love it?
believes.
Oh.
The dog. She believes.
So we're going to call it
the name.
She Believes tournament, and then like as I've been calling it, as you can see even in the title, I call it the Four Nations tournament because there's 4 nations and it's a tournament, so I kept it simple. How about that? So let's go see what every panelist has been doing. I guarantee 3 out of 4 of them have been working, while someone else has just gotten out of jail. So we'll see which one is that. You guess which panelist? No. All right, Karen, how have you been doing?
Well, I just got out of jail, so.
Okay, there we go. The mystery is over.
No, with this hat, you really think I'm gonna be in jail?
Run that.
Hacking. No, I've been working. Working and doing my articles. That's it.
Sounds good. Jen Carl, aka That Spirit Fan, what have you been up to lately?
I think it's arguable that our jobs are jail. So we've all probably just gotten out of jail. Yeah.
That's everyone got out.
I worked this morning and just a ton of homework because I have midterms and shenanigans. So that's it.
Oh, shenanigans, eh? Always up to something, you little rascal, you. Jake, what have you been up to?
Like everyone else, work. My wife is about 2 weeks away from her due date, so trying to make sure everything is taken care of before I take a week or 2 off when the baby comes. So that's my life at the moment, getting everything ready and hoping a baby comes here in the next couple weeks.
That's cool because America needed a soccer star, so I'm glad that you're producing one for us. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. And Danielle, what have you been up to?
Oddly enough, I was not in jail over the weekend, even if I did turn another year older. So, yay. Work. I'm getting ready to go down to Nashville over the weekend, though, so I'm pretty excited about that.
All right, and how was the birthday?
It was great, and I'm way too old to do that ever again. It's my last time to do a birthday like that. I was like, let's go downtown. We're going to have fun, go to the bars. I'm like, what time is it? I want to go home.
Yep.
And now everyone will take that note from Danielle and remember that as they get older. If you want to say anything to us, because I know you do, use the hashtag WoSoTalk. Or if you would like to say something to me, you can just tweet me a middle finger on Twitter. Whichever works for you. All right, guys, let's jump right into the tournament and see how we feel about this whole thing. I guess our initial reaction when hearing about the tournament with all these top 4 teams that's going to be in it. Let's start with you, Karen.
Yes, that was my initial reaction. I was super excited. Except a little bit more excited than that. That was a little bit Ben Stein. I was super excited. I mean, these are some of the top 4 teams in the world in women's soccer. The name, I know a lot of people are angry about it and hate it, but I honestly don't care about the name. I'm super excited about the tournament existing. The name is a little bit cheesy, honestly. But I mean, you think about the meaning behind it and the whole movement, the She Believes movement that happened before the World Cup. And I mean, I get why they called it the She Believes tournament. It's like an extension almost. And I mean, top 4 teams. That's big kahunas or whatever. I don't know. So yeah, and it's going to be really good prep for all 4 teams too. So I'm excited about that aspect, especially for the U.S. team.
Danielle, your thoughts on the tournament?
Well, obviously I was excited. I was a little bummed because I have friends who go to Algarve every year, and they've been trying to talk me into it. And I was probably 1 year away from like finally biting the bullet and going. But other than that, it's fine. I mean, I've never seen Germany, France, or England play live, and I'm super excited to have them on U.S. soil. I'll have the chance to see them, so I'm really excited. I was excited. I'm only okay with the name, knowing that Lauren Holiday came up with She Believes, because I am a stan. So that's why I'm okay with it. But I like what Tumblr and Twitter did with the SheBelieves, and I choose to call it that.
All right, I gotta check that out then. See, the Sheba leaves. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
A Shiba dog in a pile of leaves. It's awesome.
See, now I haven't seen it, so now I really have to check it out.
I think I just deleted it from my phone. Otherwise, I'd show you.
Jake, your thoughts on the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what everyone's been saying. It's obviously a prestigious tournament with 4 of the top 5 teams in the world, according to FIFA rankings anyway. It's a little disappointing. When it was first announced, I was kind of excited to see like a France-Germany matchup, or the other European teams face up against each other. But we won't be able to because they're not going to be streamed in the U.S. So it's a bummer on that front. When these teams play the U.S., they have to play a certain style to match up against us, and I think they play their more natural game when they're playing against European opponents. So I was kind of looking forward to seeing them play each other. You don't get to see them often outside the World Cup, so I think that's kind of an opportunity missed by ESPN and Fox, but it is what it is. So at least we get to see them play the U.S. a couple times. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the most exciting part of it. A lot of times you just had to find some little shoddy streams to see France playing some of their friendlies during the year, or to catch England, it would be just pretty much chance or a game of luck trying to get something out of an English friend that has a link. So to actually be able to watch, see these teams play against the American side is going to be pretty fun, in my opinion. I was excited to see it. We never get to see them usually play tough competition. It's usually some random team that we've never heard of the country. They come over, get beat 10-0, or nowadays it's usually sometimes 3-0, depending on how sporadic our team is nowadays. And then at the end, we all bow and shake hands, and everyone's cheering and happy at the game because it was another big scoring game. But I really feel like, well, what comes from it? I want to see us against top teams that will actually push us. Maybe a game where we don't think we're going to actually win it. So that's what I'm most excited about, seeing opponents that, we don't go into it just thinking, oh, yeah, we're going to definitely just walk over this team and win. So that's always fun, I think. I don't know. Maybe some fans always like blowing out people. It seems like it. I don't like that, being able to walk over anyone that we face. I guess I'll go to you now, Jean Carl. What are your expectations for the U.S. women's national team going into this tournament? Any players you're looking for specifically to make a statement?
Pending they get to play. I'm looking at a lot of the younger players. We're going up against teams that have quite a few veterans, but in general are younger teams. And they're building their potential and they're making their mark known. And I'd like to see our younger players do the same thing. I'd like to see Mallory Pugh get in there. Haran, who has played in France and knows a lot of those players. I'd like to see her get up in there and really make her mark. So mostly the younger players. I'd like to see Hinkle maybe come forward a little bit more, be able to handle a little bit more pressure over on her side, and really just build up that midfield a little bit more. Morgan Bryan has been fantastic. She was absolutely phenomenal during qualifying, so I'd like to see her keep up the good work there and then just have the rest of the midfield kind of continue to build, because that is where we struggled with the loss of Holiday, with the loss of Rapinoe. So I think they've been doing great to compensate and kind of adapt to that situation and make things happen there, and I'd like to see more of that. My biggest concern is actually up top. We're going against these teams that are a lot tougher than the teams we've been facing. We opened up our schedule last year with a 2-0 loss to France. Granted, a lot has changed since then, but that risk is still there. So I'd like to see us kind of form something up top, maybe have some more combination play with the midfield, something really show dynamics in the front line to score some goals that we should realistically be getting. I think we're still a little bit weak in set pieces. So I think whoever plays up top definitely needs to make a mark.
Jake Mercer, same question.
Well, that's pretty much what I was expecting as well. A player like Mallory Pugh, this is her first opportunity to play the elite countries in the world. I think this is a good indication on whether or not she can be depended on at the Olympics. And again, like Jen was saying, the Haran-Bryan partnership in midfield. can they unlock some of the elite midfields in the world? Germany and France have a very established center midfield duo or trio, and our midfield trio is very green and new. So it's a good opportunity for them to test themselves against the tougher opponents. And I mean, this will be kind of like the later stages in a tournament. It's not the group stage where we're clawing out. This is tough opponent after tough opponent on short rest. So this will give us a good indication on whether or not they can handle the pressure. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. I want to see a player like Klingberg, since she's a FIFA 11 player. Let's see what she does. Actually, yeah, I know. You guys can chuckle and laugh at that. I'm going to see what she does against some top competition, because if you're, I really want to see if she gets exposed even more, or if she does good. So it'll be good to see players like that and Hinkle. See how they do. Glad someone caught that a little bit. See, like someone like Hinkle, to see if she like sinks against them. Is it a thing where she's just not ready for the national team, or so we should like maybe pull her out and look for someone else, or should we keep Hinkle in there and keep trying to develop her? So like certain players like that I really want to see. What's that, Jake?
I was gonna say, I guess the one thing I'm interested in seeing is how much of the reserves are actually used in these games. Are we gonna see a lineup that's similar to Canada, where it's a very set lineup and there's very minimal shifting around? I'm wondering if we see some of these fringe players actually get involved. Did we call in Engen and O'Reilly and Barnes to sit on the bench necessarily? It'd be interesting to see what what happens with those players. If they're kind of the Tory Huster of the squad, and they're brought along for the ride but don't get to play. It'll be interesting to see. So.
And Danielle, do you have anything to add?
Well, I kind of touched upon it. I was going to say I'm really interested to see what Heyo does if she gets a chance, only because she's obviously been not angry, but she's been hungry to prove her worth. I mean, if you've been following her on social media, she's been making sure to be really in your face about how much she wants to be on the team. So I'm interested to see how she is if she gets a chance to play. And I was going to say also Lauren Barnes now. Maybe I'll let a Seattle fan speak a little more to her, but I'd love to see her play and get the opportunity as well. So I'm intrigued.
All right, very good. And let's see, what is our next question? Thoughts on the first game versus England?
He doesn't want me to talk about Lauren Barnes.
I guess not.
No, I didn't mean to do that on purpose. No, I mean, you can talk about her all you... wait
I'm just messing with you.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just, moving on. Thoughts on the first game versus England? What are you looking forward to? Or what would you like to see?
No, I don't need to gush about Lauren Barnes. Y'all already know what I'm gonna say. I'm excited. But yeah, the game against England, I'm really, really excited because we didn't play them in the World Cup. But they did have an amazing tournament. They were incredibly impressive. They did a lot better than I thought they were gonna do. And I wanted them to do well, but it's England against teams like Germany, France, and all of that. So mostly I just want to see how much they have improved since then. I haven't really been following their team. I don't know how they've done outside of World Cup play. So it's going to be interesting to see that team against our team. I don't remember the last time we even played England.
About a year ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, it was last year.
I have got a short-term memory, so there you go. But it's going to be really interesting to see that matchup, see players like Braun going up against players like Morgan and Pugh. So it'll be interesting. I want to see who gets taken off the bench, who gets to play. I'm wondering if Krieger or O'Hara is going to start. That's going to be an interesting question. Usually they switch off, which is kind of frustrating because I like both of them on the field. But and I am really excited to see if Heyo gets to have some field time in this game.
Well, we know how that goes when you're dealing with Jill Ellis. Danielle.
Way.
Danielle, your thoughts on the England game?
Well, I think it's going to be entertaining because, like Karen was saying, they're so much fun to watch in the World Cup. They were probably, top 3 teams for me watching them. And we didn't play. Our game against them last year, we weren't good. So that's the last time we played. Obviously, we've won a World Cup and improved since then, but I'm interested to see, how we do match against the squad. Because, I mean, they are 5th in the world according to FIFA rankings. So they're a good team. So I don't know what I'm expecting. I'm just expecting a fun match. I'm excited to see, Lucy Bronze on the field, see what they have. So I don't know what I expect, but I know it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, it was weird because last year the big thing that I don't know if you guys remember, when we played them, they played a bunch. They didn't play any of their first teamers really, maybe like 1 or 2 out there, and then we were still struggling the whole time when we were going through our whole mess basically that year with the Jalopny experience at left back and all that good stuff. And then they put it in their first teamers and started playing us even better. So we were really struggling against them. So I want to see how we come out this time around, especially because now they've grown in confidence after their great World Cup run, which I predicted them to go 3rd. So thank you, Dwayne, for predicting something right. You're welcome. And for just to see how we improved, because now we're world champions and we're injecting youth into our team. So it's going to be really interesting to see what we do. And I even believe that I was reading up on England, since they are one of my favorite teams, by the way, people. And they were saying, like, certain players, he said he's done a few changes with the roster. So it's interesting to see how compared to what they looked like when they were really beating their chests and stuff after getting that 3rd place for in the World Cup. Let's see, who was next? Jake, what would you like to say about what you're looking forward to?
Well, for the U.S., I kind of think that it's going to be a similar lineup to what we saw against Canada. I think they kind of earned the right to continue with that starting 11 to see what they've got against a better opponent. On the England side, I did a little research on how they've been doing recently. They actually played Germany in a friendly a couple months ago, and they tied 0-0. And they stuck with that 5-3-2 formation with 3 center backs and 2 wing backs and Bronze and I think Greenwood that pushed really high. So that was interesting that they stuck with that. And then they also played a game against Bosnia in the Euro qualifier, and they went with a 4-2-3-1 formation and only scraped by with a 1-0 victory. So it's a team that has a lot of different options in terms of formation. Depending on the day, it could be a totally different formation than what we're used to seeing them play. I'm kind of anticipating them going 4-4-2 with 2 banks of 4 that are very compressed and tight to limit Carly Lloyd's space in between the lines and restrict our combination play. So we'll have to see. Maybe they'll go with the 5-3-2 like they did against Germany and kind of catch us off guard. So we'll have to see on what Mark Sampson throws at us.
And Jen Carl.
First of all, I'd like to point out that I was kind of hard on England the entire World Cup. I do like them a lot more now that they left a certain someone off their roster.
When that happened.
So I'm going to start by saying that all of you England fans can stop hating me now. Okay, moving on. Anyway, so yeah, this should be a really good game. Last time we played them, like Danielle said, we weren't great. It was a 1-0 victory for us, but there was that whole controversial offside thing. It should have been tied at 1. So I'm definitely looking for a lot of the combination play. I'm anticipating Bardsley in goal. With her starting, I think she's a great goalkeeper. I think the only way we're going to be able to get a lot past her is with quick, dynamic combination play. And it's going to take a lot because their back line is fantastic. Their midfield is great. You've got Williams, who is just absolutely unpredictable. She's phenomenal. So we have to break through basically 2 layers of defense to get that ball into the net. And so I'm hoping we continue to see a lot of our flank players kind of shoot up the flank and then shift more towards center. We've seen Tobin Heath doing that a lot. We've seen even our flank defenders doing that a lot. Crystal has managed to shift more toward the center. And I think our team has the speed and the fitness to be able to do that. They just need to execute tactically well. And I think a lot of that is going to come from the combination between our D-line, our midfield, and our forwards trying to push forward and get up in there. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for from our side. I anticipate England coming at us hard. You know, they're not a team to scoff at. They're not a Costa Rica or a Puerto Rico or they came in third in the World Cup. And part of that was due to Mark Sampson. I attribute a lot of what they've accomplished to him. I think he's a fantastic coach, and just his ability to work with players of that level of talent. It's going to be a really interesting game. I expect it to be close.
Oh, I think I might have to go around and do score predictions after I brag more about England. So players I'm looking forward to. Lucy Bronson, actually, a player that I feel like some people always forget when they're talking about top players in the world. I want to see Karen Carney, because I felt like in the World Cup she really came out and made a name for herself. Creative attacking midfielder, even though they had her listed as a forward for some reason. Let's see who else I'm looking for. Tony Duggan, because she had a poor World Cup in my opinion, so I want to see if she does any better. Like I said, Barnsley's pretty good. For Williams, I guess a certain player that Jen is happy is gone. I'm kind of happy he's gone too, to make way for everyone else. Alex Greenwood's pretty solid for the most part. So there's a lot of players I'm looking forward to in England. So this is like one game that I'll make sure I'm watching and I'm pretty excited about. I guess we'll do score predictions. Let's start with box one. I mean, Danielle, what is prediction?
Score prediction. 1-0 Kristen Press goal.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Okay. Jake?
I'm going to go 1-1.
Nice.
I don't know who could score. Probably, let's go with a JJ set piece.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice. A little header. That's a sweet one. I get it.
Let's go with Haran. Haran off that set piece.
Okay. That's a good one.
Likely to happen, I think.
I was pulling for her to score too, actually, a couple of times. So nice. Jen, prediction?
I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to say for them, it's going to be a Williams goal.
Okay.
And for us, it's going to be Alex Morgan and Haran.
And let's go with you, Miss Karen.
Well, I'm guessing 2-1 as well. And the goals are going to be, the English goal is going to be Jill Scott.
Yeah.
And
not the singer? Not the singer? No? Okay.
No, not the singer.
All right.
The tall, spindly one.
Yeah, the skinny one. The tall one.
Love her. But then the U.S. goals are going to be Alex Morgan, and I think Dunn is going to get a goal.
All right. I don't know, man. I don't want to pick a loser between these two teams because I actually like them both a lot. I'll go 1-1. I'll go 1-1. The cop out. I'm gonna say Fran Kirby's gonna score the first goal and kind of shock the U.S. once they see her face. Yeah, people forgot about her from the World Cup. And then I will say that we'll score the next goal, and then after that, everyone will walk off the field, and we'll all be. Who will score our goal? Let's go with Crystal Dunn, because Crystal Dunn is amazing. So. That's my prediction, and I'm usually wrong 99% of the time. I mean, right 99% of the time. So we'll see how it goes.
We'll just go have a pint together. It's fine.
That's what we'll do, Mike. That sounds good to me. All right, then. So I guess we've already talked. We talked about that. Now let's talk about the other. There's other teams. So what team exactly do you guys like? Everyone knows I love England. That's who I'm going to be watching for. But let's start with you, Jake. What team are you really looking forward to seeing during this whole tournament, other than the USA?
Well, for me, it was actually a toss-up between France and Germany. The England team is actually the one I was least interested in.
Wait, what? What?
Different than you, but
Get a new friend.
So with France, they're hosting the next World Cup in 2019. So really, the Rio Olympics is like their testing ground to get prepared for the World Cup. They don't have to go through a qualifying campaign like everyone else to qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah.
So really, Rio is very important for them to really show that they've got what it takes to go deep in the tournament. Their squad right now is kind of interesting because they have some injuries. Gulo at left back, Amadine Henry is out in the midfield, and Renard at center back is also out. And then it looks like Gaiten Simi.
Yeah, Tiny.
She's looks like she's out of favor with the head coach, so she's been left out of the squad as well. So they've got a interesting mix of people from the World Cup, people who are trying to break through, and really preparing for Rio starts now for them. So that's why I was interested in France. You know, they've apparently been struggling to impose themselves in their European qualifiers. They beat Greece and someone else, I think, but they weren't imposing their style of play on them like they used to. So it'll be interesting for them to try to build some momentum for Rio. And with Germany, they came in fourth place, and they're saying it's a disappointment that they didn't finish higher. So they're looking to rebound. They've lost Celia Sausage up front, and they've got an interesting striker. I'm looking forward to seeing. Her name is Mandy Islacker from FSC Frankfurt. She's made 3 appearances, scored 2 goals in European qualification, so she seems like she's slotted right into the lineup pretty nicely for them. I'm also interested in Germany because they play that 4-3-3, and I'm interested to see how the U.S. could handle that formation with our current 4-4-1-1, 4-4-2 formation that we're currently playing with. So those are my thoughts on them. England, I don't know. I thought they kind of punched above their weight, to be honest, in the World Cup. They have great heart and they had a great tactical plan, but technically, I don't think they're as developed as the French or German teams. So.
No, that's actually true, because the thing is about them is they kind of got there, and even them being pushed up to 5th is because of how they finished. They're really not that good, to be honest. They stood out in the World Cup, but it was one of those things where they did better than they were supposed to, which kind of made it even better and more amazing, and why I was even more happy for them. But definitely not looking forward to France now, because you're looking forward to it, 1. 2, their goalkeeper is always shaky, France, so that actually will be an interesting thing to check out, see how the French goalkeeper, because I remember during the World Cup, I was like, there were some moments.
She's
and
weak.
And then Tini, I loved me some Tini. Now I'm really pissed off about France, so I'm not looking forward to France. Thank you for the info, Jake. Danielle, who else are you also looking forward to?
I can't pick. Because I am excited. I haven't, like I said earlier, I haven't seen any of these teams play live. A little disappointed that, and I sound like the teenager we all hate who goes to games for the names, but I'm really disappointed that a lot of the French players, the big names, aren't going to be there, because I'd love to see them play. But I'm excited for Germany, I think, because of how the game during the World Cup went. I think that I'm excited to see us play them again. Obviously, we deserve the win. It's not any controversial thing, but it was emotional, so I'd like to see us play. Plus, I'm excited about Germany because they have the 2nd most fashionable coach in women's soccer, 2nd to Costa Rica. So I'm pretty excited about that. So.
All right. Please love all of her reasons, people. You have to.
That's the most important reason.
Giancarlo, who are you looking forward to?
If you would have asked me a couple of months ago, I would have absolutely said France. They've got Les Sommer, they've got Nassib. Frick name. Yep, Tamis. There you go. They have so many phenomenal players, and again, their matches were kind of exciting for me because Buhari is kind of shaky in goal.
Right.
I know that sounds terrible, but it made me more excited to watch them because I was like, oh man, she's gonna freaking butterfinger this ball. What's gonna happen?
I like it every time. You're right about that, though.
A couple of months ago, I would have absolutely said France, but I'm actually really excited for Germany. And I know that's shocking to everybody because I'm the most stereotypical German on the planet. I actually have a pint of beer sitting next to me right now. No, I don't, actually. But I'm super excited to see them. And I didn't think I would be with Angerer retiring because I was always a really big Nadine Angerer fan. But I'm excited to see what they do in goal now. And, I think a lot of their players are often also sometimes overlooked when we talk about the best players in the world. Celia Sachik is an easy mention. Marjan, in my opinion, is an easy mention. But then you look at like Alex Pop, you look at Anya Mittag, you look at even Lena Gosling, all of these players that are just phenomenal. Henning, they're all great, and I don't know that they get the recognition they deserve all the time. I think they
don't.
I think they had a crappy World Cup finish. I think they could have finished better for whatever reason they were shaky. I think Hope Solo messing with Celia Sachs' head like screwed them up big time going up against England. But for whatever reason they did finish in the place they finished in, and they're looking for a rebound now. They're not happy about it because they're German, and Germans aren't happy when they lose. So plus they're tough. I mean, you could take a bench and smack them in the head with it, and they'd be like, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm coming back, all right, let's go. Put some staples in, roll on. So, they're always exciting to me to watch for that reason, too, because they'll go out and get the crap kicked out of them and have blood everywhere, and they'll be like, oh, look, there's red on my uniform now, great, fantastic color scheme. So, it comes with that fashionable thing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Germany.
No, you're right about their players being underrated. I felt like a lot of times when watching their team, even though how they kind of bombed out after the U.S. gave it to them, they have like some of the top 5 players in each position around the world. To be honest with you, and just people don't talk about them. It's real weird. Even the one that had what's the one with that had like the tons of leg injuries that played for Wolfsburg? What's her name? Forgot. It's she won like best player of the year. I think it's Kessler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She had all those. She was like a top player that they had, but she had the injuries that really just like sidelined her career for the most part. But it's like so many top players and just brushed under the rug, the Germans. So it's really weird how people do that about them. It's one team people don't talk about enough. And Karen, finally.
I really like England a lot, but I think I'm mostly interested to see how France and Germany come out. Just like Jake said. Mostly because I remember that, was it the quarterfinal? That was Germany against France. That was the sickest game I've seen in a really long time. Obviously, the Germany-U.S. game was amazing, but that France versus Germany game was so exciting, and France was really handing it to Germany, and it was crazy. But yeah, just the flashiness and the technical ability of France against Germany, which is basically like this behemoth like tank that just is, they're like a bunch of machines that just always do things correctly, and they're just like rad all the time. So it's going to be interesting to see those two teams, especially with the changes to the rosters, if they're still the same team that we saw in the World Cup or if they're different. So yeah, like Jen said, the Germans will be bleeding out of like 5 spots on their head, and they're still playing just as well as they were before they started bleeding. So it's going to be interesting to see those two teams go against each other. It's going to be interesting to see how those two teams go against the U.S. and England. And yeah, I think England is kind of like the lightest team that we're going to play in this tournament, so I'm not as excited about it. I am excited to see them play in general, but I think I'm most excited to see what France and Germany show.
Why is my mute button letting her? Oh, and I got an echo now. Okay, well, let's actually.
One last note. Germany's actually got a leg up on us because their league, the Frauen Bundesliga, is actually in season right now, and all the other leagues are in preseason mode. So it'll be really interesting to see if Germany's hits the ground running and has their mid-season form up front versus everyone else has kind of been in and out of national team camps, playing some friendlies here and there, but not really getting the week in, week out grind that the German players are getting. So.
Yep. Sounds good.
Interesting note on that. I think only 2 players on Germany's roster are not in the Bundesliga. So those 2 players are going to be like, oh snap, but everybody else, yeah.
All right, well, I think that was a pretty good wrap-up of everything. Jake, you said you had a little bit, you said you had a nice little chunk you want to say, so the time will be yours, and then I will wrap up the episode with my little boo-ba-boo-dee-ba-boo-da.
Yeah, so today was a big day in the women's soccer. A lot of games. I just wanted to recap a couple of them. So last show I mentioned that the U23s were playing in the Istria Cup. I tried to find a stream for it, but it was unsuccessful. But apparently they beat the full Slovenia national team 3-0. Goals by Shea Groom from FCKC. Former UCLA striker Taylor Smith, who went undrafted in the NWSL draft. She scored a goal, and Stanford's Andy Sullivan. And that was a mix of NWSL players and college seniors, really. Then we had the Algarve Cup started up today. Most notably, Canada lost to Denmark 1-0, thanks to a Nadia Nadim goal. Nice little Portland Thorn shout out there. And also, Iceland beat Belgium 2-1, and the game-winning goals by their new player, Dagny Bringer's daughter. I butchered the pronunciation, but
close enough.
Yeah. And then we got the Olympic qualifiers going on in Asia. Australia's steamrolling Vietnam 9-0. Japan's kind of struggling at the moment. They tied South Korea. So Australia's got 2 wins. China's got a win and a tie. Both Koreas have 2 ties. Japan has a tie and a loss, and Vietnam has 2 losses. So there's still a lot to go there. There's still 3 games to play in 6 days. So lots to come from there. In Europe, they had their Olympic qualifying today as well. The Netherlands had a crazy game against Switzerland, it sounded like. They came out 4-3 winners, and Seattle Reigns Mellis scored a goal. I think that's her name. Little Reign shout out there. And Sweden beat Norway 1-0. So that's all the score roundup. I did have one last thing. I'll try to be brief. But last week I made a video about the lack of female coaches in NWSL, and I kind of lamented the fact that more teams weren't looking at their veteran players who were retiring and hiring them onto their coaching staff. And after I made that video, within a couple of days, Boston hired Kat Whitehill as an assistant coach and a club ambassador. So obviously they watched my video and took my advice.
This is true.
They heard you.
Yeah, they brought her on. And then I also lamented that more American female coaches weren't being valued abroad for teams to take over their clubs or national teams. And I actually did a little digging, and I found Lisa Cole, who used to coach the Boston Breakers back in 2013. Apparently she is abroad right now. She's actually in charge of the Papua New Guinea under-20 national team.
Okay.
And it doesn't sound glamorous, but they're actually hosting the U20 World Cup in November. So she's going to be in charge of the host nation. So it's interesting to see her go abroad and test herself in a very unglamorous environment. And actually the NSCAA, which is the College Coaching Association, they had a story about how she got the job out there, and I retweeted it. So if anyone's interested, check out my Twitter feed, and there's a story there that's very, very interesting. So.
Thanks a lot, Jake, for all the recap and the info. We always love updates on those OPs. Since it was a good OP, a lot of people liked it. So definitely thanks for keeping us updated. Since you're getting people jobs, can you do an OP and get me a job real quick, man? With the team, I appreciate that. Danielle, you said you had something to say?
I do. So last time I was on the show, I might have said something that offended a certain person here on this panel.
You're about to apologize to me? Okay.
I don't know if I want to apologize for what I said.
Yes, you should apologize to me.
I'm sorry, Jen.
What?
I did not mean to talk ill about Tobin Heath.
What?
I will keep it to myself from now on.
What is going on?
So.
It's okay. I still love you, Daniel.
Thank you. You too. I think that was an apology. I think I made it worse, actually. So that's the Danielle way.
No, it's okay. You'll always be my box 1.
That's the sweetest thing anyone's ever said to me.
What about me?
Well,
what's going on? Joe. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up. You know what? You know what? Screw everyone right now. Actually, no, that was a fun episode, guys. Like I said, thanks again for all the info and stuff. If you have any questions you want to send us, and we'll discuss them on air. use that hashtag WellSoTalk or Facebook, whichever is your social media outlet, because some people are old people and don't use like Twitter or Twitter. Hey, now I said no names. So you caught stuff out of that one. But other than that, I'm your host, DJ Red Cap. These are 3 people plus 1 with a cap. That's you. We're going to do the wave, and then we will say goodbye. Look out for England, because no one else here cares about them. So everyone else is going to look at, God, guys. Bye-bye. Where's that stop broadcast? There it is. Bye-bye.